Hello, sumo fans. I'm just a couple of minutes late, but I'm here. I'm finally here. Okay. I don't normally do the live stream so soon because, in my opinion, the real race for the U show doesn't start until day 11. So we get our preview the night before with day 10. However, the way my life schedule is working this week, it makes more sense for me to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because I'm planning to go on the Sunday morning sumo show, and you guys, you won't let me do a short show on Thursday, basically. So here we are. We're going to go over the events. I see you guys are in the chat, which is wonderful. I'm going to go through the day's events like we always do, talk about the matches that were interesting to me, talk about the U-show situation right now, and then tomorrow's matches, and then you guys fill the chat, and I can never catch up, and I'm reading chat for 2 hours. Hello, Monster. Takeru Fuji's Hanka made the Gyoji duck for cover at Comedy Gold. That match was just brilliant. I can't wait to talk about it. Hello, Habob Gob. Hello, H-Tim. Hello, Tim Walker. Good morning, day, or evening. For me, it's evening. I'm not sure about everybody else. We know that people are coming in and out from all parts of the world. So, yes, good morning, good day, and good evening to you all. All right, let's start with Juryo with Kusano, 8-1. Okay, tell me this guy doesn't kind of remind you of Onosato, but maybe even better. Now, it's Juryo, so, he's going to have a hard time when he reaches the top division being so dominant, or maybe he won't. No matter what, it's a definite, unless he gets injured or something, it is a definite that we will see him in Makuuchi next year, or next tournament. So, keep an eye out for him. He is a beast. He is looking very promising, and I can't wait to add him to the 42. Have you seen Oho's mangled hand? It looks like his fingers keep getting dislocated. Been happening on his losing streak after starting 3-0. No, I think I'm going to have to go back and look at the tape there. But I noticed he started off strong and then started falling apart, so I wondered what was going on. Greetings, Army. Favorite moment so far is Mori Ora. I have a hard time with this name. Tripping, getting into the dojo. Oh, no. How about that chaser Tohakuryu? You weren't even behind him, and now it seems like you might be a Tohakuryu fan. Kusano, a little smaller than Big O, but unlike Big O, I've been on the Kusano train since his debut. I think Kusano is a little bit more versatile. I mean, the truth of the matter is, and we'll get into Onosato, he still does have, the one thing, go forward. Because he's bigger than pretty much everybody, he's going to win his matches. But somebody who's a little bit more versatile always gets my attention. I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just saying. Kusano has a lot of things going on. Real deal, great coach. I agree, Tim. Let me get into these matches. You guys can chat away. I'll get back to you guys after I get through my spiel. So, first match I'm going to talk about, Asakuryu versus Ryuden. Okay, so when I first saw Asakuryu, I think this is only his third tournament in Makuuchi. He got beat up. Poor little sumo gets beat up, sent back to Juryo, comes back up, and he's been a machine. He was really great last tournament. Now this tournament, this is peak small man sumo. He's strong on the tachi, but he's so quick after it's over. He makes these quick little moves. He's like flying around you until he, gets you off balance and gains the upper hand. And no one's blasting him out like they do to Midori Fuji. He's just so quick and gets into position that they don't even have a chance. It's like they're moving in slow motion compared to him. And he's strong. Look at how jacked that guy is. He's in Takasago Bay, so presumably him and Asanoyama are training. Though, unfortunately for Asanoyama, he's the lower division man in this case. But Asanoyama is a great fighter, and I'm sure he's got a lot of things to share with him. So, dare I say he's like a small version of his stablemate. I don't know. Keep an eye on him. He's rising into my top 5. My very first favorite sumo wrestler was Ishiura because I just love that small, strong guy who's got to figure out a way against the giants. You have to be so much more skilled or like you're dead. So rooting for Asakura, guys. Then we had Atami Fuji versus Roga. So Roga had his favorite grip, but Atami Fuji overpowered him and pushed him out, or, sort of escorted him out by the belt. Maybe this is a good sign, guys. We've been worried about Atami Fuji. We were hoping that when he got sent down a little bit further that he could work on things. I'm cautiously optimistic that he's turning it around. I believe that I read in an interview that when Atami Fuji's given advice, he doesn't take it the way that others do. Like, he kind of shrinks back. So I do think his issues, they may be starting to come to light as a confidence. So staying down here and winning some tough matches can only help his game, I think. Then we have everyone's favorite wrestler to talk about, Shishi versus Toki Hayate. So we all know how I feel about Shishi, and I know how all of you feel about Shishi. And he is lumbering as usual. His positioning is absolutely terrible. However, I do think that the injured thigh is the reason he's losing his matches. And he's going to take a nice big tumble out of the top division, I'm pretty confident, because I don't think he's going to win another match. And we will see if that's it for him, if he goes down to Juryo and we don't see him again, or if he is just going to come right back up. But I feared for him with his, he's hunched over his opponents because he's so tall. And very few guys are as tall as him. But it makes it so easy to pull him down or to, twist him. And I'm sure that's how he got hurt. So we probably won't be talking much more about Shishi in the near future. Next, we have Hakuoho versus Shodai. Now, big clash of the Tachiai just knocked Shodai's, entire world right away. He demolished him. But then you look at the arm. Not only is it wrapped up, but he's wincing and he's, stretching it out. And then he was seen in the hallway talking to Miyagi-No, pointing to the arm. This is the thing that everyone's been worried about with Hakuoho. I'm a big fan. I've been a big fan since day one. He's got excellent sumo, but he's injury prone. So I'm afraid that even though he's 8-1 and he's in the Yusho picture, he's going to be dropping out. Not necessarily dropping out of the tournament, but he is probably going to be dropping out of this race as time goes on unless he can find a way to fight with one arm. If anyone can do it, he can, but, what's going to be the cost? Is it going to make it so that he's not in the next tournament? So he's got to take that into consideration. So this next one, not two major players, but I thought the match was fascinating. Midori Fuji versus Tobizaru. Tobizaru, we all know, he just rips at you, he pulls at you. He kept going to the face. And he's just pushing his chin up, almost to a point where it's there is an illegal part to that. He was dancing on the line of what exactly are you doing? And he was having a hard time taking Midori Fuji down. And then all of a sudden he went for the double belt grip and it was over. That kind of surprised me. I'm sure Mitch will have plenty to say about that. Definitely he kind of looked like a bully out there. I'm not going to lie. And poor Midori Fuji is having one of the worst tournaments he's had in a while. So, Midori Fuji, good luck. Now we have another guy that I'm pretty hyped for. I had heard about him, but I hadn't watched any of his matches. And he gets to the top division, which was only 2 tournaments ago. And he starts off like a new guy does, struggling a little bit. And all of a sudden he just completely turns it around and then puts himself in double digits like he said he was going to do. He came in, this is Awanishiki, he came in saying, I'm going to get double digits and a special prize, and then he did it. And I'm like, okay, this is a totally different type of fighter than we're used to seeing. And he really hasn't slowed down. He fought Chiyoshima today, which, Chiyoshima's aging out. But, these are all pretty much brand new matches for Awanishiki. So he just took him out with raw power. And his positioning is excellent. He doesn't look like a rookie in his second tournament. He looks like someone who's been doing this for 20 years. You could almost turn around and say, oh yeah, Awanishiki, yeah. He's always been there. He's a dark horse in this Yusho race. We haven't seen him fight any of the top guys. So I don't know, keep him in the back of your mind because anything can happen as day 11 approaches. Next we have Abi versus Wakatake Kage. So Abi's 4-4. This is the typical Abi thing. And yet you can never ever take your eyes off of him. You might even know exactly what he's going to try on you, and it still works anyway. Wakatake Kage is having a great tournament up until this point. So on that first engagement, the first Tachi-ai, which was called back on Amada, Abi got to see Wakatake Kage's game plan, which is I'm just going to hit this guy so hard he's not going to get the Supadi going. That was the plan. So what does Abi do? The same thing basically is what he did to Hoshoryu, just a little bit higher up, but he pushes him all the way back and pulls him down, and Waka is just probably kicking himself because he's seen Abi do this before, and this is what Abi does. And let's think about his tournament for a second. Abi started out 0-3. Then he beats Hoshoryu, Takeru Fuji, and Oho. Next thing you know, he loses again, beats Takayasu, and now Wakatake Kage. He might end this tournament 8-7 or 7-8, but he will have beaten and messed with so many guys' tournaments that were of a higher caliber than him. He's an enigma for sure. It's like he matches the level of his opponents. A shame because Wakatake Kage was in this, and I'm not saying with 2 losses you're out, but he's got a higher threshold to deal with than some of these other guys, I think. But we'll see. I wouldn't count him out exactly, but that loss hurt today. Then we have Takeru Fuji versus Kirishima. So this was very fast paced, but still exciting. Some of the fast paced matches, it could be like Clash of the Tachi-ai, one guy gets the better of it, and Yorikiri, it's over. In this case, Kirishima goes for the Kubinage, the headlock throw. Now, the slow motion replay seemed to suggest that Kirishima's arm was down before Takeru Fuji, and they did a mono-e, and they still gave it to Kirishima. So we've got our first questionable call that if it interferes with, or if it affects the Yusho race, people are going to go back to that moment and say, oh, well, the Shunpan screwed up and that's why this happened this way. Unless Onosato just comes in and does what he's doing, keep a star on this match. It may come back to haunt somebody. Let's see. Then we had Tamawashi versus Daisho. Tamawashi, he's 3-6. He's not having, well, he's 3-6 now, but he's not having, a stellar basho. But he outpushed the top pusher thruster. So Tsukidashi, that's the end of the Ozeki run. That last push was pretty vicious. This is what happens to poor Daisho. He's got a lot in the tank, but not enough to make it to that tier. He's just, I don't know what happens. But he has these types of losses, and that's why he can't make it to Ozeki. So it's over again. It's over in the sense that he's not going to make Ozeki this time. But if he gets double digits, he can freeze his place and try again in July. And in July, anything's possible because people are slipping around and falling, and things get weird in July. But for now, Daisho needs to focus on just winning and, forget about the Ozeki run. And then we have Kotozakura versus Takayasu. So I would say Koto did cleanly engage at the Tachiai, but that sidestep was, shift to the side, gets the outside grip, throws Takayasu. I think his back is acting up. I think he would have won that match no matter what. Wate Dashinage was the official call. Unfortunately, Kotozakura doesn't look that great. That's what concerns me, that he felt that he needed to step to the side to fight Takayasu when Takayasu's clearly not in top shape. Kotozakura looks like he's trying to get his Kachikoshi again so he can avoid Kataban Carousel, and he's not primed to be in the Yokozuna conversation anymore. Now he's just like all the other Ozekis before him that are doing well enough to be an Ozeki, but not well enough to go on a run. And I feel bad for him because he was very healthy up until the point that he went for his Yokozuna run. And that was where he got the injury. And we all know that's what happened to Taki Keisho. That Yokozuna run, doesn't usually go well. Not the first time anyway. Okay, so the man of our image here, the man of this tournament so far, Onosato versus Ura. Now, of course he was going to beat Ura, but this could have been one of those amazing escape at the bales match. But right when Ura was, doing his ballet moves and twisting, Onosato just pushed him out. He's too strong right now for the nonsense. He's too strong to let the Japanese fans have what they want. Every time Ura wins, everyone celebrates for 3 days. So, he denied us our Ura win. He's definitely got Yokozuna on the brain no matter what he says. Yeah, he's doing his style of sumo, but this is nothing. I've said this a million times. I've seen guys go 10-0 and end the tournament 10-5. And nobody cares about a 10-5. The real tournament begins for Onosato on day 11. And he's going to start getting the tough opponents very soon. Not tomorrow, but very soon. And probably day 11. So he'll probably go 10-0, and then we will see what happens. And we have seen him in particular go 10-1, but then, win the whole thing. I think that's what he did last time. And finally, we have Hoshoryu versus Ichi Yamamoto. Definitely, should be a slam dunk for the Yokozuna, but Ichi Yamamoto's kind of got Hoshoryu's number. So it was a great sign that Hoshoryu looked composed and just took care of business. No weird opportunities for Ichi Yamamoto, no slips, no nerves, just be the Yokozuna. He was the Yokozuna. He's now 7-2. I've got a whole rant planned about Hoshoryu. Just give me a little time. Let me get through these lists, and then I'm going to tell you my rant. Okay, so here's the Yusho picture and the matchups for tomorrow. Then I'll do my Hoshoryu rant, and then I'll read your thousands of comments that just keep coming so that I get further behind. Onosato is 9-0. The 8-1s are Hakuoho and Aonishiki. Like I said, I expect Hakuoho is going to start dropping at this point. With an injured arm and being in the Yusho picture, they're going to throw the tough competition at him. I don't see him winning with one arm, especially if Onosato's the guy in the lead. It's just not going to happen. And our 7-2s are Hoshoryu, Wakatakakage, and Asakoryu. Now, of course, Asakoryu is not going to stay in this picture also, but it's fun. I can't wait. I hope he at least gets to 10-0. Now, let's see. It'll depend on who he's fighting tomorrow. I say that, and he could be fighting someone crazy tomorrow. No, he's not. Okay, they're not throwing him to the wolves yet. Tomorrow's matchups are Hoshoryu versus Ura. Hoshoryu should have this. Unless he goes into one of his weird states, he should be able to beat Ura. Ura's having a terrible time, and Hoshoryu knows how to handle him. Kirishima versus Kotozakura. That's going to be a great match. Neither of these guys are gunning for anything. They're fighting for pride at this point. Kotozakura can't go on a run this time. Kirishima's not in Ozeki position, but both of them want to prove that they're still in this and they can still fight with the best of them. They want to be in they want to be making moves at the end of this tournament, something for them to strive for July. Unfortunately, in Kotozakura's case, I think he's just trying to hang on for dear life. Onosato's got Ichi Yamamoto tomorrow. Now, what that means is he's guaranteed to go 10-0. Unless now, past Onosato, this would be the exact scenario where someone would hit him from the side. And if anybody could hit him from the side, it would be Ichi Yamamoto. Onosato's bread and butter is keep the guy in front of him. He's been vulnerable to people getting him off balance if they get to the side of him. However, this tournament, he looks very, very solid, and that's been less of a concern. So I see no scenario in which Ichi Yamamoto will win this unless something really weird happens. But let's give props to Ichi Yamamoto. He, even with the 4-5, he's still fighting better than he was the last tournament. He's steadily getting better and better. He's impressing me. Daisho will go up against Hakuoho tomorrow. I could see Daisho taking that match, both because Daisho, after he has a hard loss like he did today, usually comes back fired up and really takes it out on the next guy he's facing. And if Hakuoho is already down an arm, it's going to be rough taking those blasts from Daisho. So I'm predicting a blast out in that match. But Hakuoho could surprise me. And then, this is going to be fun. Aonishiki versus Wakatake Kage. Ooh. Now, these guys, very, very similar styles of fighting. And, man, I haven't seen a fighter like Awanishiki in a while. You can feel his competitive drive through the screen. So he is going to revel in having a chance to fight Wakatake Kage tomorrow. I think that could be, unless we get a real quick Tachi-Ai blast out type of situation, this could be like the match of the tournament. And then we have, not for any purposes for the U-Show, but we have Kim Bozan versus Roga. Now remember, these guys came up together. Both of them showed a lot of promise, and then both of them have dealt with injuries and other things that have stifled their ability. And they're both coming back right now. Kim Bozan's having a decent tournament. Roga's showing that the injury is the only reason he got dumped down to Juryo. They are both 6-3. So this could be a very entertaining match as well. All right, I'm going to do my quick Hoshoryu rant, and then I can see these comments are just getting ahead of me here. All right. It seems to have quieted down a little bit, thankfully, but as soon as Hoshoryu lost to, I think it was, who did he lose to? It was day 4. And he had the 2 losses. Like, people were freaking out, and they were like, I told you, he's not Yokozuna material. He's going to get kicked out. Like, they were freaking out, including Minomi in the commentary booth. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is unfortunately, what it means to be a Yokozuna. So I can't really scoff at it too much. Like, if that's what being a Yokozuna is, then Hoshoryu's just got to deal with it. But let me say this. To all the people who said he got promoted too early, if he had just waited a little longer, he would have been more ready for Yokozuna, are wrong. In the case of Hoshoryu, and in the case of many guys that aren't named Hakuho, the only way he can be ready for Yokozuna is to be a Yokozuna. No amount of hanging out as Ozeki and beating the same guys over and over again or losing stupid matches that he shouldn't lose would prepare him for Yokozuna. That's not the way he fights, period. He's always had to learn on the job, so to speak. That is the kind of fighter Hoshoryu is. But second of all, I think as Yokozuna, unless you are Hakuho, you've got to fight and feel the pressure. You can't prepare for it unless you are the Yokozuna. He can't know what it's like to be Yokozuna and train for that as Ozeki. He has to be Yokozuna. Now, I'm not worried. I have faith that Hoshoryu's got this. He's not like other guys that, struggle to even stay Ozeki. Like, I love Takakeisho, but I don't think Takakeisho would have made a great Yokozuna. I would have wanted him to get it just for the sake of saying he was. But Hoshoryu takes good care of himself. He responds well to pressure. Even if he has some bad losses, he comes back. He keeps fighting. He doesn't seem to get too nervous. But right now, his head is in a tailspin. He comes in after the second loss, and everybody's already like ready to kick him out of sumo. Because once you're Yokozuna, there is no getting demoted. It's if you can't fulfill the job, you're done. So it does add a layer that's hard to understand until you're in it. Apparently, Hakuoho visited Hoshoryu after the day 4 loss, and he had a conversation with him, and he said exactly the things that I was thinking in my head. You know, Hoshoryu is just feeling the pressure, and he's not. Some of those losses are the pressure of being Yokozuna, the pressure of the words, the pressure of, I can't lose this match. Like the Abi match. It happened because he knew Abi was going to pull some stuff. And he was kind of trying to make decisions, and sometimes you just got to fight that guy. Sometimes you just got to, not think too much about it. And Hakuoho knows, and other people know, like, he's going through it. He's learning how to be a Yokozuna, and it's not easy. It's hard. It's the hardest position in sumo. So I am not worried. I think he'll be fine. He might not be the greatest Yokozuna of all time in the first 2 tournaments, but I think he'll be fine. And if he makes a difference here at the end of this basho, people will forget all about those 2 losses. They'll move right on. Oh, I see all these comments now about Hoshoryu, and when I get to them, I'll expand. So let me get through the comments now. Monster says, I swear at some point you used to know me as the Tohakuryu guy. Yes, for some reason I thought you were Tohakuryu guy. I think it's because I mixed his name up with Toki Hayate. And so just, even though I know the difference between them, when I was looking at the names put together, I just associated you with both guys. So, I don't know. But it seems like maybe you like him now. Midori is really struggling. This, unfortunately, is the problem with Midori Fuji. He is really small. He is the smallest guy in the top division. He might be the smallest guy in the top 3 divisions. And, you're getting beat up every single tournament. And if you're not fast enough, if you're not perfect enough, you're going to start getting accumulated injuries and accumulated concerns. Like, he hasn't been able to get the katatsukashi at all. And that's probably ruminating in his head. So guys like him, yeah, they're going to have tournaments like this sometimes. I just hope he can get some wins in so they don't dump him. I mean, he shouldn't be able to get dumped. Let me look at I don't know off the top of my head here. Where is he? Where's our guy Midori Fuji? He's at 9. I don't think he will get dumped at 9, but man, he could. I don't know. If he doesn't win a single match, maybe that will happen to him. Makes me very worried. Let's see. Was Rudin always so fun to watch? I feel like he's been on the highlight reel for a few bashos. Rudin has these moments where he's very interesting to watch because he's a strong guy, big hands, solid grip. And then he has these off tournaments and you kind of forget about him. Kusano is like Onosato mixed with some aspects of Wakataka Kage in terms of aggressiveness and fighting spirit. I like that. I like that comparison. Because he kind of reminds me of Onosato. Obviously not as big, but there's something about his presence. But then he can do all those, like, grab the belt and shift to the side and battle you all over the ring like Wakataka Kage. Asakura really flying under the radar. Methinks it's because Asanoyama's return has reinvigorated the stable. I could see that. I could see him really fighting hard to, because Asanoyama's not going to get promoted again. He has at least 1 loss. So he could be fighting for his stablemate. And he's doing an excellent job. I'm impressed. I didn't know somebody that small could look so big. Like, obviously he's got muscles on top of muscles, but that didn't really work out for Koto Eko, did it? But Asakura, he makes it look easy, at least for now. The small man curse is that you get tired after a while of getting thrown around the ring by guys 3 times your size. Shodai is looking like Eeyore and very sad and unmotivated. Yeah, it's one of those Shodai tournaments. I think he's trying, but it is not working at all. Like, he looks so defeated today after the Aonishiki match. He just looked like, I want to go home. I'm done. Fingers crossed for Tommy. I think this is encouraging. The fact that he beat Roga by overpowering him like he did, that's a great sign. Because Roga had the belt grip that he wanted. And Atami Fuji just denied him. No, I'm going to take you out. Asakura and Awanishiki have both brought a lot of electric wrestling recently. They're both going to be really popular. Absolutely. Like I said, Asakura is little sumo with a lot of strength and a lot of heart. Awanishiki, he is talented, he is strong, and he's got attitude. And I don't mean in a bad way. Like, you see him in the ring and you know he's going to give you everything. And he's, like I said, he's so stable on his feet. His positioning is perfect. A lot of guys are like, oh, he's going to have to settle in. His footwork isn't quite right. He doesn't have the sumo sense. You feel like Awanishiki's been doing it forever. Hakuoho was looking very strong. Even his one loss was in control of the match. Watching him to be there at the end, he was looking great until I saw the armband today. It'd be great if it's not as big of a deal as it looked, but he was flexing it. He was talking to Hakuoho in the hallway. It makes me concerned. You have Tohakuryu on your brain. You can't get him out. Apparently not. People don't give Shodai enough credit for training his body to stay standing while asleep. Well, we used to call Ichinojo Snorlax, but perhaps it should go to Shodai. Shishi's lost his big tickle energy. Yeah, as soon as they started yelling at him and telling him he can't do his claw, nothing good has happened for Shishi. The good word is that Shishi is nursing a thigh injury. I'd just like to point out, though, that Shishi's struggles in Makuuchi have directly correlated with his lack of twerk and fondle. Yeah. 2 things can be true at the same time. One, his thigh injury is definitely affecting him. He doesn't like going backwards. You can see he's got no power. He's got to be in control. He has to go forward and keep going, or as soon as they start pushing him back, he's done. But he can't go forward because he can't do his weird little claw thing. Shishi wrestles like he has the hover boots on from the Ocarina of Time. Poor Shishi. It's the Tachi Eye. Shishi's not able to do his grabbing in hockey, and it's affecting his game. There's a reason he was doing it, guys. More like the iron boots. Shishi reminds me of that tall guy who shouldn't be named this tournament. He does kind of, yeah. But he doesn't do the lean. He doesn't lean on people. He just lumbers. Hakuoho really didn't use his right arm last bout. Yeah. I mean, think about how talented the guy is to be able to fight with one arm. Oof, I like Shishi, but good point. Dang, I was pulling for Hakuoho. I didn't see the injury. We'll see how he is tomorrow. Maybe I'm overreacting. Shishi is nothing like he who shall not be named. Shishi is entertaining. The other guy was not. 100% agree. Shishi is endlessly entertaining. The man who shall not be named was the most boring sumo wrestler we've ever seen. And he was a bully. So that's why he doesn't even get named. Midori Fuji is a streaky Rikishi, very often has strings of wins and losses. Yeah, but it's been a while since he's been this bad. 0-5 or 0-9. Eek. Voldemort was more like skinnier Ichinojo. I guess, but Ichinojo was just so big that even if the matches were over so quick, you didn't get bored necessarily. But Ichinojo did lean as well. But I was watching some earlier matches of Ichinojo early in his career. Wow, he was really impressive when he first started. It's too bad that the back got all messed up like that. Midori Fuji's going to be saved by a complete lack of promotable guys from Juryo. Yeah, I could see that. I'm not forcing promotion picture this early. No one is closer than 3 losses to demotion. Boring. Yeah, what can you do? Some tournaments, they've promoted so many guys that this was bound to happen eventually. Aonishiki is so good. I like his chances against the lower Sanyaku, except for maybe Waka. I can't wait to see him fight all the top guys. Oh, obviously he's not going to get Hoshoryu right now, unless, if Awanishiki's in the, in toward till the end, he could face anybody. Kiri is fighting well, but that's a bright spot. Daisho always the bridesmaid, never the Ozeki bride. That's the truth. Daisho has hit his ceiling at Sekiwake, no question about it. Now, Kirishima fighting well is good because all of his problems are injury related. So maybe he's finally recovered from the neck, but you know how the neck injuries go. They never quite leave. So he's going to have to be careful. Oh boy, I just screwed up where I was. Oh boy, okay. Onosato is just bread and butter. Just damn, that's a lot of bread and butter. Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, I don't want to rag on a guy for being one-dimensional, because I had to hear that about Takakeisho, even though I don't agree with that. Takakeisho had a variety of moves. He could throw you. It was the one-arm throw. He parried. He slapped you until you were practically, on the ground. Onosato is literally just going forward. But who cares if it's boring or not? He's dominant. That's what matters. Koto needs to attack to put pressure on his opponent and then go for the belt grip. I forgot it was a former Ozeki, Tochi Azuma, Kisanosato, or Mainumi who said that he needs a little bit more aggressive tachi. I agree with that. He's always had that problem. This is Koto Zakura we're talking about. He's always been a little bit too defensive for a guy that's that big. However, now with the knees, I don't know if he's run out of options. Like, will he actually be able to do a more aggressive tachi with the knees? I don't know what kind of range of motion he has. Awanishiki is too fun to watch. I hope he wins and stays in the race. I think he could. I think Aonishiki could stay all the way to the end, but he really hasn't been tested up until this point. He's going to start getting the tough matches, and then we can talk. He could be a fun champion. Is this Awanishiki we're talking about? Kim Bozan winning on the belt never fails to amaze me. I know, Kim Bozan's pretty versatile. He can slap, and battle you in the middle of the ring, and then he can also just grab the belt and chuck you out. That's why he did so good in January. He's actually a much better wrestler than his rank would suggest, but he hasn't found the consistency yet. He, too, dealing with injuries early on. But, I think he just had a letdown in March. I don't think that was injuries. I think, he did so well in January and things just weren't clicking in March and he got too frustrated. He looked very frustrated. Now he's slowly climbing his way back in. This is a good learning lesson. You have to go through these downs as much as the ups in order to really test yourself. When you're losing, can you pull yourself back up and do it again? For 15 days after you got the wind taken out of your sails in March, can you find a way to gut it out and get back to where you were? These are the guys who end up, in Sanyaku, the ones who fight. I'll be the only one on the planet cheering for Chiyoshima to beat Midori Fuji. I feel bad for Midori Fuji, but it also must suck to lose to a 0-1 guy. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think I would be rooting for Midori Fuji. Nothing against Chiyoshima, but I need Midori Fuji to get some wins. Aonishiki is fighting way above his years in the skills he's showing. Amazing performances. I have a feeling he might be like one of those crazy trainers. Awanishiki's fighting mind is genius level. Agreed. That's another thing. You can see the adjustments he's making mid-match. He's determined to win no matter what, and he will put himself in the position he needs to. And then he had a rare Kimarite the other day. Which one did he do? I put it in the posts. We can look at it. Hold on a second. He pulled off a move that you never see in the top division. Where is he? Where's our guy? Is he all the way down here? No. Here he is. Oh, is it not going to tell us? Well, we just need to go to the day. I gotta go to the days now. You guys are probably telling me, but I can't see the chat now. What day was it? 6? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll just look at the Kimarites here. Nope. Ugh. You guys have got to tell me. It was early in the tournament. There it is. Uchi Muso. The fact that he is confident enough to pull off some rare technique just to win tells you that this guy not only has a great mind for sumo, but he probably trains really hard. And you can see it. He is competitive. He's no Shodai. The Hoshoryu haters were coming out full force when he lost his second match. Hoshoryu has only started 7-2 once before. He went 10-4-1. He had a worse start in the Basho. He had a worse start in the Basho. He wanted to get Yokozuna. Yeah, for whatever reason, and it's not just limited to Hoshoryu. People decide that they don't like somebody. In his case, they don't like the faces he makes. They think he's rude. I don't know. I've already told you, he wears glasses. He can't see out there. But, you know, he does ham it up. He does try the stare downs and messing with the opponent's heads. But so what? I don't think they really care as much as some of the fans do. Yeah, people just don't want to like him, so they'll use any ammunition they can to say he stinks and he's going to be the worst Yokozuna ever. I say wait and see. Hoshoryu's problem is that he doesn't fight like a Yokozuna, and he does better when he doesn't try. So, I mean, you got to ask yourself, what is Yokozuna level sumo? I would just say he's not as dominant, but not as dominant as some guys we've seen in the past. But skill level wise, I think he fights like a Yokozuna. He can beat you in a number of different ways. You're not going to hear that about Onosato. Onosato is guaranteed to become Yokozuna, if not this tournament, sometime this year, likely. It probably will be this tournament, actually. But we'll see. Like I said, day 11 is when his tournament really starts. He has to prove it, but I think it's probably a foregone conclusion. But no one will say that Onosato can beat you anyway. Onosato overpowers you and pushes you out. Hoshoryu can beat you 7 or 8 different ways. And if you try to hank at him, well, you see how that turned out for Takeru Fuji. That was the most entertaining match I've seen so far. Did no one give Takeru Fuji the memo that Hoshoryu is King Henka? Not only can he hanka you in a way that you don't know it's a hanka, but he knows how to spot the hanka normally, unless it's Chiyoshoma. And he knows how to counter it very effectively, to the point where the Gyoji just fell over. And somebody asked Hoshoryu after the match, like, did you notice he fell over? He's like, yeah, but I'm not focused on him. I'm focused on winning the fight. Like, what a silly question. The conversation around Hoshoryu's worthiness to be Yokozuna is going on over in Japan, too. I'm always interested in what the Japanese fans think, as they are the only ones the brass cares about. That's not a surprise that would happen because of how he got it, because a lot of people don't feel he's dominant enough because he loses matches to lower rankers that he shouldn't. There could be some Mongolian thing, but I don't think so. I really think the Japanese fans have gotten so used to the Mongolian Yokozuna that they want a Japanese Yokozuna, but I don't think they're necessarily against a Mongolian. I could be wrong. You'll have to tell me what kinds of things they're saying. Hakako did say that Hoshoryu has too much on his mind. Everybody knows that Hoshoryu's mind is spinning. That's why he was visited by Miyagino, former Hakuoho. Kisano Sato, I think, stopped by. Or somebody else. Some other former Yokozuna stopped by to talk to him. He's got a lot of pressure on him. He's the sole Yokozuna. they have all these big events coming up in France and London and everything else. He's learning the ceremonies. He's supposed to carry himself a certain way. He's supposed to fight a certain way. And he has a lot of naysayers. And he already is a very analytical guy. That's why he can beat you in so many different ways. So yeah, he's going to have to fight through this enormous pressure that he's never had before. And yeah, he's not Hakuoho. Hakuoho is a specimen, guys. He was mentally and physically one of the toughest guys you'll ever see in your life. But I think Hoshoryu will be fine. I think he'll get through it. He might have a couple of rough bashos, but I think he'll get through it. Yes, Hakuoho visited Hoshoryu in the Kokugikan bath, gave him some wisdom, and now Hosh is on a 3-win streak. Yeah, he basically just told him, calm down. I understand the pressure that you're under as Yokozuna. You just gotta calm down. You'll be okay. No, you're right. I was the Tohakuryu guy. Now I'm confused. Now I'm very confused. Were you the Tohakuryu guy or weren't you the Tohakuryu guy? Speaking of size, Enho is now 100 kilograms for the first time since dropping from Makuuchi. I was going to say, I thought he looked bigger. I was watching him fight the other day and he got screwed over by the Gyoji, in my personal opinion. And I'm like, he's looking much bigger than he used to. Congratulations to him. Midori Fuji needs 4 wins to be safe. 3 wins would be borderline. He would have to get really lucky with 2 or less wins. It's not looking good, though. I've not seen him look this rough in a long time. He's really got to dig deep and come up with a plan. And just scrape out of this and get a do-over for July. Enho looks great. He's definitely going to be back in Juryo soon, and I can't rule out the possibility that we will see him back in Makuuchi in 2026. Yeah, I think they've said that he will not get the promotion this time because you have to go 7-0 basically. But then he'll be back in Juryo in July. He can get back to Juryo from the July tournament into September. So hopefully we'll see him back in Juryo in September. As long as he gets 1 tournament in Juryo to become a coach, I will be satisfied. That's what we're all hoping for. But you never know. I mean, could you imagine like Enho fighting Ura in the top division? I think the entire place would explode with excitement. I was going to make that same Asakura Kotoeko comparison. Yeah, I mean, Kotoeko comes in jacked. And I thought, this guy, yeah. And he was just so timid. Asakura, on the other hand, he is a bulldog. He comes at you so quick and so aggressive, and he makes these big guys look kind of silly. I'm very impressed. I haven't been watching for more than a year and a half. Are we seeing a new breed of sumo coming? The guys seem to have more musculature. So, yes, we are going to see a new... This has been coming for a long time. Particularly Issei Gahamabeya. They've been doing this for years now, but we're seeing the culmination of the new standard. A lot of guys are lifting weights now. They're making it a big part of it. In prior times, the sumo exercises were the main focus, and very few guys were doing like weightlifting regimens. That maybe some guys would lift a little bit of weights, or they would do it within the sumo confines, or some of them actually lift each other. So there would still be like ways that you were lifting, but not like going to the gym and having sets. Now it's becoming so popular that everybody's doing it, and they're even putting their training sessions on YouTube, which I love watching. And so now like everybody's doing it. This is the first generation where you're going to see the vast majority of wrestlers starting to look very muscular. Like looking like weightlifters. And you're seeing a lot more smaller guys have been popping up in the last 2 years or so. I mean, you still have the Kaios of the world, but they seem to be not the in thing right now in comparison to these smaller, more muscular guys. Hoping Wakai Kari can get to Makuuchi soon, even smaller and more aggressive than Asakura. Oh, that's exciting. Is he the guy who was also giving a lot of credit to Take Keisho? Please remind me. Don't know why people are surprised Hoshoryu had a bad start. He almost always does. He will probably give 1 or 2 Kimboshi every basho. Will probably end with 11 or 12 wins all the time. I agree. The reason they're surprised is because they're rooting against him. It's not really a surprise. It's, yeah, let's jump on the Hoshoryu's going to lose and he's going to be known as the worst Yokozuna. He's going to get kicked out of sumo. It's fun for some people to be that way. Wakakari has been pretty impressive in Juryo. Nabatame is fun to watch too. I think Nabatame keeps getting injured, right? A lot of interesting new guys are here. We had a previous muscular era with Wakataka Kage, Ishiura, Koto Eko, Terutsuyoshi, lean version of Kiribayama, and Skinny Hosh. And don't forget Tochinoshin's Death Star deltoids. Don't forget things like, you know, cultural body type. Like, the Japanese are smaller, just, that's the genes, than, say, Tochinoshin from Georgia. I mean, man. No, I feel like that's why sometimes Shishi gets those comparisons. It's the same, like, look at this giant man. You're not going to find a lot of Japanese who can get that big. Which is why the Hokuseiho thing was so disappointing. Although, actually, he was Mongolian, so forget that. He was born and raised in Japan, but ethnically Mongolian. Shishi is a weird mix of mass, but also strangely large amount of endurance. He does have a lot of endurance. I agree with that. Seems like a lot of his wins come from exhausting his opponents. Yeah, they just circle around the ring for a while. Shishi has a lot of grit and raw power and not much else. It's hard not to like the grit, don't you think? As awkward as he is and, you know, confusing, I do admire his determination. Oh, Craig was going to try to say the name that we're... I think I just said it. I just said the name. Whoops. Forget what I said. Shishi reminds me of a newborn baby deer trying to make his first steps. Oh, it's so horrible, but so true. Speaking of injury, Koto Shoho returning looks like a brand new man. His brother could make it to Makuuchi very soon. Yeah, Koto Shoho might actually get out of this with a Kachikoshi, which would be impressive. I don't know. I mean, I know in theory, but Koto Shoho should be so much better than he is. His sumo career has just not gone the way he planned. Because he's much more talented, and he just keeps getting injured and getting knocked down, and he can't get his flow going. There's no consistency because he's never the same man when he comes in. So hopefully he's healing properly and we could see a new version of him. He will be inspired by his brother coming up. I don't think he wants to be leapfrogged. He's got to avoid Juryo at all costs. Yeah, I was thinking they're taking after the Waka Bros. Even Taro was quite muscular. I'm thinking like Takeru Fuji, Awanishiki. Yeah, Issei Gahama, they've been doing the weightlifting for a while. So Teruno Fuji's been a weightlifter for years. And that dude can lift. I'll put a link to the YouTube training session they did. Teruno Fuji's a strong man. Takeru Fuji is in there. Obviously, Hakuoho is joining in on the weightlifting. Aonishiki, different stable, but I'm guessing they have their own weightlifting regiment. People are trying to say the name that shall not be said. Kusano coming too. Kusano's going to make things very interesting. He really is. Just think about this. We have Awanishiki. We have Kusano coming up. I want to believe in Hakuoho, but Takeru Fuji, he's still a great talent. He's just not... He's not figuring it out right now, but there's a lot of brightness in Makuuchi right now. Early Ichinojo was such a beast. Yeah, he flew up the ranks when he first started. He didn't even have a top knot yet, and he was... I don't know if he was in Sanyaku yet or what, but... I mean, he was a giant man, and he was young, not beat up, not hurt, and he really can go at the Yokozuna. Awanishiki's sneaky lightweight. His aura makes him seem a lot bigger than he is. Yeah, he's not as big as his muscles like sort of puff him out. He's like Koto Eko. Haha, I'm as white as snow too, but when I'm tan, I look more jacked. I will say Midori, Fuji, Shishi, Shonana Umi, and Tochi Taikai are the clear leading candidates for demotion. I thought you were going to talk demotion promotion. But when they are all three away in pure number sense. Well, it's all going to depend on what the Juryo guy's doing. And didn't you say there's not much upward movement at this point? Legit, everyone complained Onosato was just going forward. Last night, everyone was complaining that he's stepping backwards now. Well, the scenario is this. For all those who don't like Hoshoryu and they'll find something wrong with his game, you have just as many people who feel that way about Onosato. So they'll nitpick on a certain thing about him and go. And they'll forget about what they said 5 minutes ago. Yeah, one of Onosato's weaknesses is actually going backwards. For him, a lot of times, it's sort of the desperation. This is common for a lot of sumo guys. Stepping backwards is like something you just do if you haven't trained it out of you. So people are going to jump on that. A lot of people are saying Onosato's the real deal and Hoshoryu stinks. They're going to ignore it. So it's just a teams thing. I'm on Team Onosato. I'm Team Hoshoryu. How about we just have 2 Yokozuna? Wouldn't that be great? He can't wait because he's so dominant. He is dominant. He's been dominant. I mean, this guy's barely been in sumo for, 2 or 3 years, and he's knocking on the door of Yokozuna. You should want that. It's not like there can only be one Yokozuna. There can be at least 4. So why not have another one? Aonishiki is more Hoshoryu sized. He could have success if he isn't too small. I think Awanishiki is going places. Onosato Sumo is just boring, no long matches. Yeah, but isn't it fun when somebody gets the jump on him and then he starts panicking? So either he learns how to win in those desperate situations or we see some incredible counter and you see the dominant guy go down. So it's kind of like people would say Hakuoho's matches were boring because they knew he was always going to win. Now, he could beat you anyway. He was phenomenal. However, people still said that. So, it's only a matter of time for Onosato. Just to spite me, Kirishima's going to win out and go 12-3, isn't he? I hope he does. Awanishiki is almost identical in height and weight to Hoshoryu. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, Hoshoryu wasn't a huge guy. And he was a dominant Yokozuna. Oh, okay. Never mind. Asa was 20 kilograms heavier. Okay, whatever. So maybe Awanishiki could put on some weight, or maybe he can just be so dominant he doesn't need it. I think a lot of guys are finding out that the extra weight, it ends your career. So if you can find a way to be the smaller guy, this might be to your benefit. Chiyoshoma's regressing to the mean. Hey, Chiyoshima, it's a miracle he's done what he's done. We all know that. It's only a matter of time before he gets put back into his rightful rank. I want to believe. Oh, I'm finally caught up. Uchimuso from Awanishiki. With how Hakuoho moved Chiyoshima out gently, I'm thinking there should be an undisclosed injury. Are you saying an undisclosed injury for Chiyoshima? Probably. He's up there fighting the tough guys, and he's, in the latter stages of his career. He's probably injured all over the place. But that's like a reflexive thought as a sumo fan for anyone on so few wins. There was a second Uchimuso at some point. I forget who did it. Oh, really? Murray sounded like his soul was leaving his body when he was commenting the Awanishiki Uchimuso match. I just love Murray. I like that Hosh does stuff to get himself jacked up before the match. I respect it because I know how it feels. Hoshoryu is a character. You get used to the very stoic, respectful Japanese fighters, and every once in a while you need a Hoshoryu who's like, punching the wall and screaming at himself and making outrageous promises or threats like I'll see you on day 15. It just makes it so fun. Speaking of can't see, Nishikigi is part of the group along with Endo, who started really well but now looks kind of meh. Well, in the case of Nishikigi, he is like 37 years old. And it was awesome that he started off so well, but he's tiring out. You fight these young guys who are almost like 20 years younger than you, night after night after night. He's just losing his endurance. I wouldn't be shocked if we got a retirement from him soon. Like, I could see him saying, this isn't worth it. Some guys, they'll fight forever. They'll fight in 3rd division. I could see Nishikigi being like, it's starting to fade. And retiring if he was headed to Juryo. I'm training hard to beat my local all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet. I'm going to win one day. I wish you luck on that. Yes, you should stare them down like Hosh does. How's life going, 42? Sparring going well? Yeah, I'd say sparring's going well. I mean, I'm working on my defenses. Because most people are much bigger than me. Most people are younger than me and faster than me. So my plan is to be able to block everything that's thrown at me. And I practice that a lot in my spare time. So I'd say it's going well, but I still have a lot of training to do. But boy, do I love the look on people's faces when they think they're going to execute a perfect back spin kick on me and I block it. The deflation is way better for me than landing a solid hit. Hoshoryu seems quite popular on their YouTube channel among the Japanese viewers. Yeah, I actually think Hoshoryu is popular because he's a character. But that doesn't mean anybody who's popular is somebody who incites a lot of passion. So the opposite of love is not hate. It's, complacence or boredom, or if you have no opinion about a guy, there's nothing to him. But with Hoshoryu, you love him, which incites hatred in other people. Who does he think he is? He ain't that great. That kind of stuff. Chiyoshoma's Hanka being stronger than Hoshoryu's anti-Hanka aura is such a perfect little lore moment for sumo. Their families will be able to talk about that for years. And I think Hoshoryu will laugh about it. Not now, not when he's in the height of trying to show himself as Yokozuna, but when it's all over, he's going to laugh about it. Speaking of which, did you guys see the Takakeisho Terno Fuji on the Japanese the Sumo Association channel, the Kyokai channel? I need to learn Japanese right now because they were throwing little sneaky jabs at each other. Like, I don't know what they were talking about, but I know it was probably their days fighting each other in the ring. So I'm going to translate every word if I have to use Google Translate because I need to know what they were saying because their facial expressions were amazing. Those guys were never smiling or hanging out in the days when they were active. They were serious, serious rivals. I think the Japanese fans love Hoshoryu. They are the ones seeing his goofy side in person. Yeah, Hoshoryu's got that aura about being Yokozuna, but he's always been the prankster. He's always got a smile on his face. He's been very generous to people. So those who are closer in proximity get to know that he's actually quite fun. People don't really pay attention to sumo outside of the basho because Hoshoryu is actually really funny and friendly outside of sumo. Yeah, there's some people who come and they just want to watch people crack heads in the center of the dohyo and then they're done. And they don't care about all the extra. They're not like us who are like, oh, did you see the latest sumo channel? I subscribe to it. Let's do Guess the Banzuke. Let's find out who's marrying who, or let's watch all the training sessions. If you're doing any of that, then Hoshoryu is actually awesome. He's very personable. People on the internet are just unhealthily reactionary. True. Think about this for a second. The internet is a split second of time. So you're really, really mad, and then you type it down, and then you're like, I'm not that mad anymore. Maybe I shouldn't have typed that when I was mad. Maybe I shouldn't have hit enter. And so you even represent yourself poorly on the internet just by, if it's like, drunk texting. Don't type on the internet when you're angry. I was the Tohaku guy, not the Toki Hayate guy. Oh, that's right. See, I'm still doing it. Just stop, okay? Just stop. The shape of the names, especially in this black background with white letters, looks similar. I got it. You're the Tohaku guy who is a puller, not the Toki Hayate guy. But now you're starting to like Toki Hayate, I think. If Onosato is going to be as dominant as I think he is, people are going to use that against Hoshoryu. Hoshoryu will probably be underrated until people look back at his career and realize his quality. I think that is very possible, but I also think that Hoshoryu is the type of guy that will rise to the challenge. Right now, even though he's the Yokozuna, he's a little bit of an underdog. But he's got that personality where he will push himself, and he will do something. He will try, and even if he doesn't have success, like, I can't wait to see these two fight this tournament. I don't know what will happen. I really don't. But I know Hoshoryu's got a plan. And he has Onosato's number. So unless something weird happens, it's going to be an excellent match. And before I forget, did you see the Dosuke Sumo Salon about pushing thrusting? Takikeisho featured heavily, and Takikeisho and Terunofuji commented together on the Oyakata channel. Yes, I just said that. See how far I am. But no, I heard about the Dosuke Sumo Salon, and I haven't watched it yet. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to do it. So freaking cool, and Takikeisho said there will be a pusher thruster Yokozuna, and he can't wait to train them. Ah, my heart. I just love Takikeisho. I really hope he trains up some awesome fighters. That is my hope and dream. I hope he does train the first pusher thruster Yokozuna in a while. He's so beloved now that he's retired. Tohaku is the pulliest puller who ever pulled, but Kaio gives him a run for his money this basho. I agree. There's far more pullers than there's ever been. I think Tobi Zaro actually brought it into style. Asakura, who does big man sumo as a little man, it's really impressive. Yeah. You forget how small he is because he just wins the matches. Kaio, man, I underestimated him. He's a real wily fighter for such a wide dude. I know, you see him and you think, he's too heavy. He's not going to get around this ring, but he's fairly agile. Enho versus Yu Takayama was always entertaining. Yu Takayama took none of his tricks, just stood up the tachiai to avoid Enho's trickery. Many confused Gyoji. Yu Takayama had quite a personality. I miss him very much. Kaio is so agile on the edge. He is one of the few recent university guys to not be a jacked smaller dude. Yeah, he's the complete opposite of the trend, which makes him fascinating. Because there used to be a lot of guys like him. You think about Tsurugisho. Why am I forgetting his name? Guys, he beat Takikeisho. Somebody tell me. He beat Takikeisho, won the Yusho, cried. Brains dying at 10:42 at night. I was totally wrong on my Kaio prediction. He had an epiphany after going 0-4. What a comeback. Yeah, I was ruling him out like, okay, here's another newbie who's just going to collapse, and he's doing well now. It's like he's making his adjustments. Waka Kairi's brother was the guy giving lots of credit to Takikeisho. Oh, his brother, okay. Karigata. There also is a third brother currently at Saitama Sakai. The Ikari means anchor and comes from their dad, Oikari. Ooh, I love it. A bunch of brothers coming in again. Wow, I am really behind in these comments, guys. Oh, no. And I lost my spot. Here we go. Shonan Umi and Onosato are the two tallest in sumo right now, aren't they? I believe so, but somebody else is close. Kageyaki's pretty tall, but he's obviously out of the conversation. Grit is always a very likable quality. Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit for Koto Sakura when I never felt that way before, because he's having to grit it out with the injury. Do you think Takeru Fuji will recover from his start, or has he found his first ceiling? I don't know if it's a ceiling. I think he had such great success in his first tournament that his expectations got so high. And now he's spinning his wheels and he's not sure what to do. So I don't think it's his ceiling. I think it's like a slump. He will get back at some point, but it may take him a while to figure out what he's going to do, because everybody expects the explosive Tachiai now. That's how he won. No one had ever seen him before. No one had ever felt his Tachiai. So these were all first-time matches, and he just blasted every single guy out. Now they all expect it, and they have a plan for it. So what is he going to do now? He tried the Hanka. That's not a great alternative. It doesn't make you look good, and if you do it to Hoshoryu, well, you see what happens. So if you want to beat Hoshoryu, you might need to take it up a notch. On Grand Sumo Breakdown, they said Gagamaru told them Takeru Fuji will never be Ozeki. And Gagamaru is quite an opinionated guy, too. Yeah, I think Takeru Fuji, and I thought this from the start, I don't want to say overrated, but he's a talented guy, but he's got to find something other than the power on the Tachiai. He just looks a little lost out there. Like, if he doesn't win on the Tachiai, it's like, oh, what's next? I can't help but wonder if he's injured still. Well, if he's not injured, there is one thing to consider. The type of injury he had, I think it was Achilles, wasn't it? Can happen to you again. So he might have had to adjust his sumo because of the injury. So while he's, fully charging in the Tachiai, he doesn't every Tachiai. He kind of saves it for some matches. He might have to, he might be a guy who needs to adjust because of injuries, and he doesn't know what that plan is. I think Kusano might be a pretty good Kachi Clash pick, guys. I agree with that. Monster, I think that was Goose, actually. Oh, yeah, that probably was Goose, because Goose was hanging out with Gagamaru. So, it was likely him. Him and Gagamaru, they're buddies. Was it? If it was, I'm sorry, Goose. Yeah, Goose is going to be mad now. He's going to be very upset. In Japan, there's a common feeling that winning a Yusho as a Maegashira means bad luck for the rest of your career. Remains to be seen for Takeru Fuji. Well, there is something to rising before you're ready. Now, in his case, I think he was 14-1. He wins 14-1, and then he pulls out from the injury. So then he got dumped down and had to come back up. So, I don't know. Onosato's backward moving wins haven't been the desperation kind like before. He looks way better than he's looked in previous tournaments. There's no question. Onosato can't go long because he immediately resorts to stepping backwards when the plan A doesn't work, but stepping backwards isn't a bad mood oftentimes. So that's the key, right? You need to draw out your matches with Onosato, but he's so dominating so far. Now, he hasn't fought the top guys yet, but he's been so dominating this tournament that no one can make the match go longer. Ura was trying. If he had slipped away and brought Onosato back to the middle of the ring, something interesting could have happened. But Onosato just pushed him right out. He's sticking to guys like glue right now. Like I said, Onosato is standard but undeniably effective. Sumo needs a mix of bigger and smaller guys for maximum audience enjoyment. Yeah, you need all these different types of sumo wrestlers. You need ones with attitude like Abi and Aonishiki. You need small guys like Asakuryu and Midori Fuji. You need the big guys like Onosato and Koto Sakura. I think Koto Sakura might be similar height, actually. And you need a Yokozuna who can do a lot of different moves, in my personal opinion. Chiyoshima is a dying breed. The medium-sized Mongolian sumo salaryman isn't as common as it was years ago. I think the sumo salaryman in general isn't as common. Like, you had a whole bunch of them. You had Chiyo Maru, you had Takada Fuji, Chiyoshima, who else? Sort of a middle of the line. Even Sadano Umi, towards the end. Like, there was a bunch of these, like, come in, do the job, and be done. That's going away. Sumo is shifting. Chiyoshima has persistent back issues. Recently, he figured out some new ways to manage it better, which is why he's holding a pretty high rank, but it's still an issue. Well, he's getting older. That's never going to get better. Nishikigi probably waiting for his stablemates to get to Makuuchi. The Ikari boys are just some of the Isanoi Beia's recent recruiting successes. Possibly. I'd miss the Mongolian presence in sumo. Their sumo is on average more throw-based and technical, and I love that. Yeah, they have a lot more of the judo background, and the Mongolian style of wrestling is very aggressive. And, I mean, they're strong. They're just strong guys. Mark my words, there could be 4 to 6 Isanoi Sekitori in the next 5 years. That could be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Same with Fujishima Beia. They have a lot of promising young guys. We've been waiting for a while for some of these other stables to catch up because Isegahama just dominating. Hoshoryu will laugh about it after he gets a Yusho as Yokozuna. He really does need to get that out of the way. I saw the fire training video. I'm guessing you're talking about the weight training one? I'm going to feel ancient when Hoshoryu retires. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's a young guy. So, you follow the sport long enough, you will definitely start to feel old. Hosh is the Kyle Busch of sumo for anyone who follows NASCAR. Everyone has a strong opinions on him one way or the other. I don't follow NASCAR, but I have heard of Kyle Busch. Taka Keisho said he would wear his sagari very loose because Terunofuji used to use it to get to his belt. Is that what they were laughing about? That's awesome. They had some epic fights, man. Those were the good old days. The battle hamster is no longer a hamster. My guy is looking like $1 million with the weight loss. It's made him look younger too. Isn't that amazing? He has gotten so thin, and he looks way younger. He's lost like 5 years in age. Now, if you've ever seen his mother, this is the reason he looks so good. His mother is like one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. So that is why Taka Keisho is looking good. Battle hamster turning into model mouse. Well, he married a model, so they're going to have amazing looking kids. I never thought that the sagari could be used as a tool in a match. That's so smart. I never thought of that either. Should rip it right off. Talking about marriage, congrats to Kageyaki. He's feeling the Rikishi marriage, Makikoshi urge. Oh, yeah. It's about time for him to get married. Oh, Mitch is here. People suck. That is all. In my defense, I do my best work when I'm angry. I'm so glad you're here to be angry with us. I wonder if you're talking about Tobizaru. Good advice. I definitely made the mistake of typing angry many times, but I try not to. Yeah, especially when you run a YouTube channel like I do. Sometimes people will say something and I want to just go crazy. And I'm like, nope, I will respond to them tomorrow. Because I always do respond. I feel the need. If people are at least going to take the time to listen to our channel, interact with us, even if I don't like what's being said, even if they're insulting me, I still feel I need to address them. So I usually wait 24 hours before I respond, and then I try to think of all the scenarios of why someone might put this down. And then I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. And then normally I will make my comment as positive as I can, but as direct about what I think. So positive in the sense that I don't insult anybody, but I don't give anyone a pass either. So I'll be very direct and serious, but give them the benefit of the doubt and not negative and won't attack their character. Usually it works out okay for me. Because I can always just go out in the garage and punch and kick the bag I have out there if I need to get some aggression out. Okay, let's see. Out of the ring, Hoshoryu and Nabatame are basically the same guy. Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if Hoshoryu has something like 30 to 15 career head-to-head with Onosato, but less Yusho. Definitely headed in that direction. I literally cried during that Dosekoi Sumo Salon episode. Really? Okay. I'm going to watch it tomorrow because you guys are keeping me up very late. A pusher thruster Yokozuna would be so cool. Anyone who does push sumo is labeled as two-dimensional, and I'm sick of it. For goodness sakes, sumo is pushing and thrusting. I know we all love the throws, but when you think of a sumo wrestler, you think of the pushing and thrusting. And for some reason now we want to cast that style aside. It's bizarre. It's aggressive. It's powerful. And when somebody defeats it, it's cool. So I don't understand the two-dimensional thing. Yeah, I think pulling is a viable technique, but it has kind of a stigma. It's slowly getting adopted, though. Tokushoryu. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. Between Tokushoryu, Toki Hayate, and... forget it. Forget it. I'm not even going to go there. The point is that all of them have names that are similar in shape, and when you're tired and reading, it gets confusing. It's still pretty unpopular with the fans, though, for the most part. Not that the fighters would care. You care to some degree. Yeah, Tokushoryu had a strong pulling finisher, too. Kimbo is close. I think he's the second tallest. Kimbozan is taller than Onosato. Speaking of pulling, I think Oshoma would gain a lot more popularity if he shouted "Ole" after he wins. Seriously. I don't know if this has been covered, but I'm in the mood to be grumpy and mean, so I'm just going to say this. When do I get to mock John for the now eternal lack of Hokuto Fuji Yusho? So John had an idea that we could just put Hokuto Fuji Yusho on a 1 hour loop, and that would be our tribute to Hokuto Fuji. Yes, sadly, Hokuto Fuji has finally retired. It is a sad, sad basho for us, especially John. We will have to do something in his memory. The Achilles is the worst injury to have. It takes forever to heal properly. That's probably why Takeru Fuji seems to have lost the pep in this step. Hokuto Fuji, wow, what a career. Speaking of grit, that guy gave 110% every single match, no matter who he was fighting against, was bleeding all the time. He has earned his right to just sit down and not get injured anymore. Seems like Takeru keeps losing on reversals. I'm hoping it's an experience thing. It could be an experience thing, but it could also be the concern about the Achilles. He could be tentative about it. What's the longest time spent in Ozeki? I think Kotozakura has a chance of breaking the record. I don't think so. Takakeisha was Ozeki for years. So, I don't know what the record is, but Takakeisha didn't have it either. Habob Gob, how does it work for the bashos when there's two Yokozuna? When do they normally face? Is it every basho? Two Yokozunas always face off on the last day. Been a hot minute since that's happened. I think it was 2018 with Hakuoho and Kakuryu. Wasn't that late. I think they faced each other in 2020, March of 2020, and Kakuryu won it. So, I mean, they were still battling in 2020. Looks like Haru 2020. I called it. March 2020 was the last Yokozuna versus Yokozuna bout. There was no fans in the crowd. It was weird to watch that tournament was so weird to watch it in silence. Never mind then, Mitch got it. Thank you. I was curious. Also, the last time Hakuoho fought on day 15 before his finally with Teruno Fuji. What is going on here? Oh my goodness, guys. I keep losing where we are because there's so many comments. I don't want to sound like a thirsty Reddit sumo memes person, but we need a shirtless Takakeisha picture. Ay. I missed some comments after that. Hosh is 3-1 versus Onosato currently. Yes, he is. Don't forget that. He looks like a different guy. It's uncanny to me. Takakeisha really does look like a different guy now. He looks like a kid. I guess in some ways he is a kid. He's 28. Japanese women are all put together nicely. They really take care of their appearance. Well, I don't know what the background for Takakesho's mom is, but she is so well put together. She's like the picture of perfection. Onosato is 0-3 versus Koto no Waka, but 3-2 versus Koto Zakura. Ha ha ha. Like that. Maybe Takakesho has some of that Onosho horse oil to make him look so young. I haven't seen a picture of Onosho since he retired. Confirm Koto needs to change his name back. Yeah, nothing's gone well for him once he changed the name. Had a boss who used to tell me that if I was angry to finish writing the email, then throw it out and do a new one. Good advice. Sometimes I had to throw that one out too. Oh yeah. You definitely wouldn't want to see a Japanese woman. You definitely wouldn't see a Japanese woman in Walmart in pajamas, but maybe in anime. Not even in anime. No. We should do a live stream Doskoi Sumo Salon watch along. Doesn't need to be a video, just audio and chat would be cool. I'll think about that. I mean, I think we can. No, we probably can't watch Doskoi Sumo. Maybe. Like when things are free and available on YouTube, they don't usually give you a hard time. But I bet you that's on the regular NHK channel. I wish I cared little enough to wear pajamas at Walmart. K-Bunny, I missed the stream. No, I'm sorry, K-Bunny. But we'll be back tomorrow on Wednesday, so you have more opportunities. It'll be the same time each night. Same monster. Envy those with that level of not caring. Let's go Hakuoho. Oh my god, I made it in time. Well, Kaliwali, we're at the end. But you guys have given me so many comments, and I try to get through all of them, that I'll probably be here for at least another 10 minutes. K-Bunny getting here. We need to stall another hour. Another hour? Talking till midnight? Oh my goodness. Yes, there are 2 more streams in the next 2 days. I think Big O is going to do it. I think he's going to do it too. Longest time in Ozeki was Kaio, around 10 years. Wow. How'd he pull that one off? I still think someone needs to check on Hakaku and see if he's drunk, crying in the corner of his now lack of sekitori in his stable. And Kita no Waka needs a prayer or two to make it back. You really hate on Hakaku, don't you? Did you guys see the grip battle between Ryuden and Ryoga? They should zoom in on their hands more often during the standstills. I gotta go back and watch that again. Takakesho does look so young now. He looks like a 20-year-old. He really doesn't look anything like he did. And what's crazy is that Takakesho's been heavy his whole life because he started training in sumo very young. So he's never looked the way that he looks now. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't think I'll even recognize him after a while. And do you know how much I'm going to cry when they do the haircutting ceremony? I was just thinking about that the other day. I don't know when it's happening, but it can't be that much longer. Hakaku couldn't care less, in my opinion. He's retiring soon anyway. They always care. They'll care about the legacy. I didn't include the withdrawal. Just wait for Kusano and Sei Hakuho in the top division. Miyagi-O gonna make himself heard. Yeah, I forgot about Sei Hakuho. Such a funny name, quite frankly. Considering the name that shall not be mentioned. Yeah, I hope Miyagi-No gets out of the shackles of Isegahama because I can't wait to see all the competing Rikishi in the next 10 years or so. September, he beat Hosh before his Ozeki promotion. I think we're talking about Onosato, yeah. Hakuho needs a stable back already. Too many Isegahama guys can't fight each other. Agree. Miyagi-No should get a stable back soon. I wonder if it'll be when Isegahama retires or when Hakaku retires. I wonder who would be leading candidates for next chairman. So there's a lot of scandal about that. Talking about not letting Miyagi-No out, period, and Teruno Fuji taking over, which would not sit well with him. Conversations about Hakuho leaving the Sumo Association again, but that was through the tabloids, so it's a mess. I hope they correct it soon. Maybe we need Hakaku to retire for that to sort itself out. I just find it funny that he took Kita no Waka to the press thing in England for him to most likely not even be able to get on his plane. I know. Someone should tell Google it says 0-3 in actual bouts. People like these things. I wish it happened more often. You need your own daily stream podcast. I would love to do that, but I'm very busy. I have a lot of things that I do. So I do my best to do these live streams, at least 3 during the sumo time. We do the Guess the Banzai. I try to do wrestler tributes, so maybe I'll do something for Hokuto Fuji. Maybe I'll do something with Doskoi Sumo Salon. I do like our watch parties where we just go to the free stuff and watch matches and talk. That's pretty fun. I might do another one of those in the next 2 weeks or so. Just make sure you look at the posts on YouTube. I will tell you when things are happening, I promise. Tim Walker has like and subscribe with a smiley face, which you know what that means is that he's looking for the plug. Is it time to do the plug? Let's see. The plug is so much work. Hello, sumo fans. You are listening to 42 Opinions Sumo, the greatest sumo podcast in all the land. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll do more live streams. Maybe. Okay, let's see. Kaio and Chio Taikai are tied for the longest Ozeki career at 65 basho, almost 11 years at the rank. That's crazy. How did they endure? When's the London tour? Kitanowaka might make it back to Makuuchi. Still possible to get to Juryo and through in a couple. I think it's October. The haircutting is the haircutting is in October for Takekeisho. October 4th is Takekeisho's haircutting. Miyogi-do the next day. This has got to go on my calendar because I know it'll be on YouTube live. Tickets just went on sale. Oh my goodness. I wish I could go there live. I'm going to cry. Wow, I totally forgot Miyogi existed. That's terrible, Habob Gob. He's senpai to Takekeisho. Isagahama down to 2 in Makuuchi with Hakuoho being loaned to them. Oh, gee. I just lost. Okay. I've heard Terunofuji is an intense coach. I believe it. The guy's wearing a track jacket and he's intense. He scares people just by looking at them. Correction 3+ Hakuoho. They're doing Miyagi no dirty. They are. That's all I'm going to say. They are. The punishment doesn't fit the crime, I think. I have to imagine someone that took the Rikishi persona as seriously as Takekeisho would be a relatively traditional and hardline coach. I think he will be an excellent coach, and I agree with that. Definitely traditional, but definitely like we're not slacking. M is too busy kicking butt in karate. Keep doing your thing. Yeah, I've got karate several nights a week, and there are other projects that I also do, so I do like doing the sumo thing a lot, but I can't do it consistently enough, unfortunately. But I try to sneak some extra stuff in there when I can. So what? Why would all the Isagahama Rikishi be a big deal now? Nobody complained that much 2 to 3 years ago when it was the same situation. It's no different than the 90s Futo Goyama or Musashigawa. Because we all complain, that's why, Mitch. Thanks for the sumo chat, everyone. Have a good week and enjoy the rest of the boss show. Good night, 42, and thank you. Thank you, Army. We will be back the next 2 days if you want to stop by. Everyone liked the plug. Why always so busy? Because I am an entertainer in many ways. I train in singing. I'm an author. I do the sumo thing. I also have book clubs, and I can't even list all the different things that I do. I don't even know how I manage it. I guess I just don't sleep. Mitch, I'm just observing that they've lost a couple this year. Used to be 6 in Makuuchi. I think the JSA might block a Takekeisho stable attempt because he's so young. He might have to wait for Toki Wayama to retire and take over the stable. I agree, and don't forget that they've blocked Takekeisho every time he tried to do anything, so there's a precedence there. He does already have his own stable, though. He wouldn't even have to buy one. Everything this channel posts is a treat. Thank you for the hard work. Why, thank you, Monster. I do appreciate you and all of the subscribers who are enjoying this, because I remember when I first started doing these live streams, it was like you and Mitch and Daniel and like a couple other people. And some days, like, you wouldn't even know I was coming on because I didn't know when I could do the live stream. And so I would talk to myself for 20 minutes. It has certainly changed a lot since then. It's far more enjoyable. I still think it's too soon for Miyagio's stable to reestablish. If Kisei had to stay closed for basically 23 months for something, I think a lot less severe. There's no way 14 to 15 months is enough. I think the issue they have is that they're not even discussing it. So they're not even telling him if or when. And the mind games are what are affecting that situation. Poor Midori Fuji. Completely agree. I hope he doesn't tank out into Juryo. Also, Enho is coming back. Issei Gahama got so many guys now. Yeah, but Enho is going to have to wait probably until September, unfortunately. It doesn't give me notifications when you post on the YouTubes. This is a YouTube thing. I don't know why certain channels that happens. If I were you, if you really want to check when we're doing stuff, just go to 42 Opinions when you think about it and look at the post section. So I can show you how to do that. You won't even have to look for notifications. Let's see. I don't know if I want to pull that. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, everyone. Okay, so you go to YouTube and you go to... You just click on 42 Opinions and you click on posts. And there you go. I post in here all the time, even when sumo's not going on. If I like a picture, I post the picture. This is my awesome swag I got from Japan from my friend. My Vegeta. My Wakataka Kage stuff. That's why he's doing so good this tournament. So here you go. This is where you need to go. Hopefully that's actually popping up. It is. Okay. Hold on. Now I lost my comment section. So ironic that Musashigawa and Futagoyama used to be big rival stables. Now Futagoyama and Fushiyama names are owned by former Musashigawa Rikishi. Things constantly shift. Futagoyama was Takanohana, the first stable, and Fujishima was his brother Wakanohana, the second stable, merged to be a mega stable. I mean, I do, but it's like the only place in the whole internet where that gets used. Yeah. Hey, I like it. One-stop shop. Aonishiki versus Wakataka Kage today is going to be awesome. That, I think, will be one of the matches of the entire tournament. Unless something weird happens, that should be amazing. Onosato versus Ichiyamamoto, yikes. It'd be awesome if Ichiyamamoto pulled something off. I'm not ruling it out. It shouldn't happen, but I'm not ruling it out. I would have to do some digging, but I bet that between Futagoyama and Musashigawa has to be pushing half the division in the late 90s and early 2000s. Yeah, sumo has changed significantly in each decade. I mean, think about all the Hawaiians who were dominating and things, and now we haven't had an American in, I don't know, 20 years maybe? Maybe not 20 years, but pretty close to. That mega stable produced two Yokozunas, Wakanohana, Takanohana, Ozaki's Takanonami, Wakashimazu, and Takamisi. Oh my goodness, I can't read it. Takamisugi, Taka Keisho's latest coach. Oh, interesting. Pretty great matchups tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a blast. Onosato has everybody left to fight. He has to fight Kotozakura, Hoshoryu. Pretty sure he has to fight Kirishima still. Maybe not. Kirishima was having early matches with other guys. Should have to fight Daisho. So, I mean, he's got plenty of the big dogs to fight. That would make me so happy if Yams pulled something off like that. The mega stable Futagayama had a fierce rivalry with Musashigawa stable, home of Yokozuna Musashi Maru, and Ozeki's Dejima Musoyama, now Fujishima, Miyabiyama, Futogoyama, and various Magashira. Are you still in school? Isn't the semester over? I am long out of school. I have full adult responsibilities. Blew my mind that Hoshoryu just won his first match against Ichi Yamamoto. I know. Strange. Onosato's got the entire Senyaku except for Takayasu. Yeah. That's what I thought. So the real matches begin on day 11. There's always the possibility sumo could be taken over by some other country no one's ever thought about yet. It wouldn't be the same if that happened. He hasn't fought Wakataka Kage either. Yeah. There you go. And Wakataka Kage got Onosato's number a couple times. It happened twice already. Alright, guys. I made it to the last comment. We're an hour and 40 minutes in. I will be back tomorrow, I promise. Okay? Ukraine. Yes, Ukrainian sumo is on the map. Maybe Ukraine will jump in there. Yeah, Monster, watch out for those Bosnians, Uzbekistanis, Sri Lankans, and whatever other random country will take over sumo next. I don't know, the Mongolians aren't ready to give it up, I don't think. Djibouti is the next random country to take over sumo. I just want to hear the announcer say that over and over again. Let's go Awanishiki. I mean, it could be Ukraine. Waka Shimazu was such a fun wrestler. I was watching sumo footage from his 1985 in Zen show, and it was electric. I do love the old matches. People compare him to Haruma Fuji. All right. See you tomorrow. What time? It will be 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for tomorrow and Wednesday. You are welcome, Tim. Thank you for your participation in the chat. Nothing is for sure. The world could end tomorrow. We have to stall. No, we can't stall. No. We have to stall for the end of the world, but not stall to keep this going. Thank you all for coming by. I will be back tomorrow. I'm glad you got to stop by, K-Bunny. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 9:30. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy day 10 because it's going to be fun. Daiseisan is not looking like the Great Mongolian Hope, I have to admit. They got a ride or die in Hoshoryu for now. Hoshoryu was the last Mongolian Hope for a while. Unless Kirishima gets his act together. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.